happy to have you here, Antonella, at WULOP 2025.
Thank you.
And tell us a bit more about your story. When did you start? Why? And yes.
Well, it's a long story.
Okay,
I'll give you
ready.
Well, I started beauty when I was very young, actually before I could legally start working, because it's always been my passion. It's always been what I love to do. I've never looked at my job as an actual job. It's my hobby, my passion. It's what makes me happy. And I remember the first time that I said I wanted to be what I am today. I was actually 4, and I remember.
Yeah. So tiny.
Yes. I actually,
a little kid.
Yes, I was, and I actually remember still that moment very well. I remember we were having guests for dinner, and this lady, she asked me, imagine a 4-year-old girl, she asked me, so what do you want to be? What do you want to do when you're older? And I thought, you know, she was gonna get an answer like a princess or something, and instead I went like, I want to be a stylist and a beauty therapist, and that's it. That's what I've always been.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So it was always like inside you,
yes,
in your heart. You felt it, but why? Was like someone in your family that maybe was into makeup and beauty?
Yes, but it wasn't that. So I had these 3 major things. First one was hair, beauty, and psychology. And funny enough, today I cover 3 of them because I'm also a qualified life coach.
Oh, that's news.
Yes.
Big news.
Yes, it's the latest thing.
Okay.
I finally managed to finish all my courses, and now I'm a qualified and certified life coach as well.
Okay, pretty long journey, I suppose.
Yes, lots of study. But even when I was younger, so I remember like my college and my studies, I did study psychology. So I already had the degrees in psychology back then.
Oh, okay.
So, and then as soon as I could legally finish what I was supposed to do, because Mom was like, you're going to school. I was like, I don't want to go to school. I want to do beauty. I was like, no. You first finish, like, you know, get at least a degree. Sense. And then you can do whatever you want. So I did that first. So I got my degrees in psychology, and then I started with beauty and hair. Now, one of my auntie and uncle, they had a beauty salon and hair salon. So even before, like I was like, I think probably 15, 16. So legally I couldn't work, right? But because it was my family, I remember I used to always go like during summer break or weekends or whenever I had a chance. I used to be there and just simply sweep the floor, whatever they needed, but just wanted to be there and watch them. And they were really, really incredibly good. So even just by being there and watching them, it really helped me a lot, learn a lot of things and just get a proper...
Being in the environment and the atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. The vibe and what it is about, because it's not that easy as it looks like dealing with people every day and making them feel welcome and hearing their needs and see how you can accommodate their needs at the best. It is sometimes quite challenging. So it takes a lot. It's not as easy as it looks like.
Yeah, because, we often go to like the hairdresser and whatever, and we always think like, chill.
Chill.
For us, for them.
Yes, but not for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for us. So I started study, basically. And then I went to beauty academy. I got my degrees there.
In Italy?
In Italy. Okay. So I started in Italy, and I remember I used to work like crazy hours. Like almost every day I used to do like 12 to 14 hours of work a day. And I was definitely underpaid. But that's how you learn and grow. I had the luck to work with some of the best in the industry in the town where I come from. I'm from Italy, as you know, and so I had like the experience I made that experience basically to learn from some of the best. And then I managed my own place before I left for London.
Okay.
So I was managing my own place, and then that's when I decided to focus more on the beauty industry only. So although I still have the skill for hair, like I'm a stylist specialized in actually hair extensions and all of that, but I decided to just put that aside and focus only on the beauty industry.
Is there a reason why, or?
It was more of a calling for me. It felt more like, I love both, but I felt like that was covered, done. And then the beauty, it has so much more that I still wanted to learn and explore and go deeper, that it caught my attention more. So I was like, okay, that's done, covered, cool, love it, fine. Let's focus on that now.
Like a world that was still open that you needed to explore
Exactly.
and everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Also because there was so much that was still happening. And so I could see in a long run how there was a lot more to explore. So that's when I decided to focus more on that. And then I decided to also move to London. And I was 26 when I decided to leave the most comfortable, beautiful life.
Your home, your house, your family.
Exactly that.
Everyone.
Exactly that. The beautiful weather, all of it. But that's the thing. I had it all. There was no more challenges.
Step out of your comfort zone.
Exactly. Yeah. I was doing great, but I was in my comfort zone. So I was always obsessed with London. And I wanted to make an experience. So crazy enough, because I didn't speak one single word of English back
Nothing
then.
at all.
Nothing at all. I could speak German and a little bit of Spanish, but not English. So crazy, because I literally left everything alone, packed my bag and moved to London. Just like that.
Without...
I had one friend. Okay. I had one friend only that helped me a little bit at the beginning, and it was very traumatic. I'm not gonna lie. Work-wise, apart from a personal experience, but work-wise, the beauty industry was very different than what I was used to. There were back then. There were different rules. The beauty industry wasn't regulated the same way. So it was something totally different that I had to learn to get used to. And I'm not gonna lie, I cried myself to sleep every night for the first year. But then I started to get used to and met a colleague of mine, and we became business partners, and I opened my first business in Fulham.
Together with her,
yeah. Not long after, I learned that I had a health issue, and I decided to sell it and focus on private life. And that's when I also had my son and everything. So I had a little bit of a step back for a little bit of time, and then go back full speed mode into it. And that's when I decided that the beauty in general, because obviously I was qualified to do all the beauty treatments, so from facials of all sorts and all kinds, lasers, all of those kind of treatments, I decided that the PMU, so the permanent makeup, was the field where I wanted to focus more and learn. One of the reasons why is because as you can see, I like a challenge. I like to learn. And I could see how that was a field that was quite new. So there was always something new coming up.
Maybe it wasn't that explored already.
It was new.
Yeah.
So when something is quite new, let's say, there's always a new product, a new technique, a new style. There's always improvements and upgrades. So I saw a very great possibility for learning. And that's one of the main reasons why I decided to focus more on the PMU industry. So I did many courses, especially for microblading. For microblading alone, I think I did 3 different courses. And then I focused more on powder brow, combo brow, lip blush, eyeliner. And then I moved more into the paramedical industry.
Okay, so after that?
Yes, after that, combined. Paramedical is basically like treatments like scar camouflage. So it's basically where we cover all the scars in the body, and 3D areola. So it's basically mostly for breast cancer survivors who have their nipples and areola removed during surgery. Yes. And they're left without any nipples or any areola, and then we recreate that in 3D, which is incredible. Okay. And so I decided to focus more on that field too. So now I do mostly those 2 treatments, and I can't tell you how rewarding it is. Yeah,
because there we can really see how it's not only being beautiful, it's not only
absolutely
beauty, but it's
exactly
something way more for people that maybe are going through something very hard and difficult in their life.
Precisely that. It's pure, the way I like to see it is pure empowerment. Those treatments, they exactly deliver that. Empowerment, confidence in some cases. Yeah. They're healing. they do heal. They help healing.
Yeah, because we're all different. Maybe for some people it doesn't matter that much, but for others, yes.
Exactly.
That can make a huge difference.
Exactly. It does make a huge difference, because it's not just vanity, which is fair enough, nothing wrong with that at all. But these treatments in this particular case, they cover a lot more than vanity. They cover like a journey. They help you through a journey. And that's when I decided to kind of focus my attention into cancer patients. Obviously, every client is welcome, whether it's vanity or alopecia or cancer. But I find that working on cancer patients is what really gives me joy. Like the difference, that the impact that these treatments have on them, you just can't put a price on it. It's priceless. It's pure empowerment.
Yeah, because it can be something that tiny, or that like that you change a part, you add something, and
imagine losing your eyebrows to chemo.
Yes,
imagine losing your areola to breast cancer. Imagine having your body left with scars everywhere. Now, if that's what you wish to have, by all means, but so many people don't want that reminders on their body of that journey. And for me to be able to help them with that, removing those scars or recreating the 3D areola, or giving them their eyebrows back, or the eyeliner, where it's like it gives a little shadow in the eyes. Yeah, because
eyebrows and eyeliner,
they're all gone, right?
They make a huge difference, way more than hair, I would say, because it changes completely your facial.
Precisely. Imagine giving them that back. I can't imagine of anything more rewarding. I honestly feel honored to be the person that gets to help them every day with that. It just makes me happy, it gives me joy. I can see what it does, what it gives to them. And so often it's the case where after I finish the treatments, we both cry.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, it has happened. It's pure joy. So I'm very honored to be saying that this is my job. This is what I get to do every day.
Yeah, you give something important to people. That
it's not just a beauty treatment. It's much more than that.
And how does that work? The whole process, for example, the eyebrows. Like, because I suppose you can't do it during the chemo, during the treatment.
So one thing that I'm trying to bring a lot of awareness is the fact that if you have your eyebrows done, whether it's microblading or any other technique, but let's say, for example, microblading, if you have your eyebrows done before you start chemo, then you will not go through the trauma of being browless during chemo. Because we can't do treatments once chemo has started, but we can do the treatment before and after. The power stays in the fact that if you have your microblading done before you do chemo, once you lose your hair to chemo, you still have the microblading done. So you have perfect eyebrows. You won't even notice that much that you've lost your hair, because you have the permanent makeup. So that in itself, I think, is incredibly powerful. And I'm happy that many people now are starting to get this information. And I receive so many calls, which obviously I'm fortunate in one case, but fortunate on the other, because at least there is awareness on it and they can help themselves so much with it, where they ring me and they're like, I know I'm going to start chemo next week. Can you do my eyebrows before I start chemo? And the answer is yes. No matter if my schedule is fully booked, I work extra hours. I don't care.
Does it take one session more?
One session.
Okay.
Usually, yeah. We don't have time to do both.
Yeah.
But it's not always needed to do two more than one. So, but we do the first session. So they have their eyebrows on point. They start chemo. They lose their hair most of the time. They still have perfect eyebrows. And once their chemo journey and medication journey is finished, they come back. And we do a reboost or whatever it's needed. Sometimes it's not needed, so it depends on the cases. But that in itself, I think, is just incredibly powerful. And I receive so many calls from clients during their journey where they're like, my eyebrows have now fallen, and look at me. And they send me a picture where it's like, thank you so much, you have no idea what this means to me.
And then cry.
Cry again. It's incredible. Like, I'm very honored that this is my job.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Also, because I feel that a lot of women, maybe they don't even know about, like, okay, they know that they can do your eyebrows and stuff, but you don't actually maybe think about it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you lose your eyebrows and then you're like, oh.
Yeah. But that's exactly what I want to change. That's exactly what I want to help. Awareness is power.
Yeah.
So the more people know, the more people can benefit from these services. It's not just vanity, it's a lot more, as you can see. So we always try and share stories, even on our social media, TikTok, Instagram. My assistants always try to create stories that you can reshare. Because if you share to, you don't know who is watching.
Yeah.
Could be someone that you don't know is going through cancer, but they are, or their sister, or their mother, or their friends are. You don't know. It's like a chain. Spread the awareness. Help them out like that. And they can choose to have it or not.
Yes,
that's their choice. But as long as they know, I think that's where...
At least you see it, you know that there is, and you're like, oh, maybe that could be a possibility,
Exactly.
or like something that I would like to do before.
And they can make a choice. They have the information, and they can make a choice, whatever they prefer.
Yeah. And does that hurt? Because I think there is a lot of also misconception about like microblading.
Yes,
if it
definitely.
hurts, if maybe it's not natural and it looks fake, kind of.
Obviously, as every other treatment, it depends on how it's done. Like, even if you go to have your nails done, some nails look like very fake and like massive, some others look very natural. So it depends on how the artist works. And that's why I always say, make sure you choose your artist carefully. Make sure she's qualified, certified, and make sure she has experience. Go and check her work before you choose her. And every artist, even qualified and everything, even great artists, we all have our own style. There are artists that work a little bit less natural, and other artists that want to go very natural. And that's perfectly
like
fine.
tattooed on your skin.
Exactly. At the end of the day,
something.
we are artists and we have our own signature. The way I prefer to work is quite natural. So when there's a client that comes to me that wants a little bit more dramatic or more glam eyebrows that doesn't suit a natural shape, I don't do it. I just tell her, look, I get that that's what you want. I'm afraid I'm not the right artist for you. That's it. They go and find someone else who is more appropriate for that kind of style. I personally prefer to work more on a natural level, because I personally think that if you go natural, you cannot go wrong. Bear in mind, this is something that you're gonna wake up with for a year, 2, 3. It depends on how much your skin retain the pigment,
and then it fades a bit?
And then it fades over time. So this is something that you need to consider that you wake up with. Whether you have makeup, whether you're staying home, whether you're going out, whatever you're doing. Do you really want to wake up with the glam eyebrow? So I think natural is the best. And then if you're having, like, I don't know, a more glam makeup, you can always add to it.
Exactly.
And make it
you
more
add
dramatic.
something yourself,
Yeah.
and then
You can always add to it later. But to wake up with, to have on a daily basis, natural is better, in my opinion. But as I said, everyone has a different style. So my signature is mostly natural. So no, it's not something to worry about. They shouldn't look fake. The aim is to enhance the natural aspect. And then there is obviously a healing process to do, which is important also for the final results. So I always say it's teamwork. I do the first half and they have to do the second half, because obviously if they go home and wash their face or sweat it off, it won't last as well as we want it to. So there is a bit of a teamwork that needs to be done.
Okay.
So, and then pain wise, we use numbing cream. So pain should not be something that should be experienced. A little bit maybe of like a little, obviously everyone has a different threshold of pain. Maybe a little bit of uncomfortable feelings at times, depending on like what we're doing. But pain should not be in the equation, especially when it comes to 3D areolas. It's totally pain-free because we numb the area before we start.
And how long does it take, for example, the areola?
It really depends.
Okay.
It really depends if we're doing both, if we're doing one. Sometimes to do one, it takes me longer than to do both because I have to match this to the other. So it's more, you know what I mean? So it really depends. And also every person is different. Every skin is different. So it could be from 2 to 3 hours. It really depends.
And that it's also only one session?
Usually for 3D areola, there's more than one session that is provided. Yes.
And before you said that you don't only do microblading, right? You do also other techniques for the eyebrows?
Yes, so I'm trained in all the techniques available in the market when it comes to eyebrows, which is basically microblading, nanoblading, powder and combo. So we can create whatever style we want.
And what's the difference?
And actually even color correction. So where I basically correct the color. So sometimes, for example, I have clients that had their treatments done from other artists in the past, and it gets old or it goes wrong, and it, like, you notice the eyebrows going pink or blue or gray or purple. Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool.
You name it. I've seen them all. Yeah, rainbow
Pink,
eyebrow.
blue,
Yeah.
green.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh my god. Okay.
Green not so often. Pink is the most often. Gray and blue as well, very often. Yeah, it depends on how the pigment is implanted and many other factors, and I can often help that by color correcting it.
And the others, is it like, do you have the same results and the technique is different, or also the results is different?
No, depending on which style, like which techniques you choose to use, it looks different. So microblading, for example, is when we use a tiny little blade, microblade, and we cut the skin open in a way where it looks like hair strokes. So it looks like there is hair, but in reality it's not. It's not hair. It's just us cutting the skin and implanting the pigments in it in a way that it gives the illusion of hair. While powder, instead, we use a different tool. We use a machine with a cartridge, and we create sort of pixels on the skin. So it's more of a shadow kind of effect. So it looks a bit more like makeup, if you will. And then combo is when we combine the two. And then nanoblading is where we create these strokes, but with a machine. And technically, there are differences between them. Look-wise, there are differences too. So it depends what kind of style you prefer, and I always show my clients the difference between them. But it also depends what the skin, what suits better the skin, basically. Like if you have a very, very oily skin, microblading might not be the best option for you. Powder could suit you better. So it depends. But I assess that with my clients during a consultation.
Okay,
so
you have a consultation first with them?
Definitely,
in person or online? Or...
it depending on the case, depending on what treatments they're having done and what the situation is. Sometimes over the phone can be enough. Sometimes a video call, sometimes I ask them to come in person because I need to check them. When we do 3D areola or scars, I always see them in person because I need to check and touch the skin and check the skin and assess it. If it's microblading or just simply eyebrows, a picture or a video sometimes can be enough. It depends on the situations. Okay. And and then I assess and I, ask them, tell them what I think is best for them and what they like, and we go through every single details during the consultation. And the color is also bespoke, so I create the color per each client, basically. So I create it based on their skin tone, undertone, and what I think will age best on them. And we always try to match the color that they already have to make it look as natural as possible, basically. So yeah.
Okay, good. And about aftercare, what is it, like specific products that you need to use? Maybe no exposure to the sun, or
So there are different things that I recommend my client to avoid doing, and bear in mind it's important to do the aftercare very well, because as I always say, it's teamwork. I do the first half, they have to do the second half, because after we finish, if they go home and wash their face or do things that they're not supposed to do, the treatment will not last as well as we want it to. So it depends on which area and which treatment they had done. If it's, for example, eyebrows or eyeliner or lips or 3D areola, the healing process is completely different. I also bespoke it because not every skin is the same, not every skin needs the same thing. But on a general note, what is important to avoid is sun exposure, wetting the area, so the area usually should be dry, and no sweating, not excessive sweating, no products usually on the area unless I give something, and no sleeping on their face. So there's few things that they need to consider, and it depending on which area they're treating. If it's for eyebrows, usually it's around 10 days of a healing process and aftercare. Eyeliner would be 10 days as well. Lips usually is about 1 week.
Oh, pretty quick. Even
Lips
though
quicker.
maybe they're a bit more wet or...
Still, they need to keep the area quite dry, and everything they drink, they need to drink it from a straw. Avoiding spicy food and hot food or messy food. So it's like a couple of days of being careful with their lips.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
And the aureola?
It depends again, but usually it's about 10 days as well. Cool.
So now talking about your the big news, so your new certificate in life coaching. When did you start this process? Well, you told us that you studied already psychology and you were already interested in that, but when did you decide to actually study this and get the certificate and be qualified?
So it started, as I said, a passion when I was young, and I've got my first 5 years certificate from Italy. And then, I don't know, it's just something that I've always kind of been interested in, been reading lots of books about things. But I've also been through a lot in my life myself that could have completely crushed me and destroyed me. And instead, I decided to look at it as an empowering opportunity. And I've had therapy myself, which I'm very grateful for because it has changed my life. So I could see as a client how important it is. Like, mental health is everything. And so that even like added, you know, to the value, because I was like, oh, so that's what it does. So that's I think when I was like, I want to be able to help people that way. Like, I received that help. I know how great he has been. I want to be able to give it back. And then I had, I think like the moment where everything kind of like clicked was a few years ago, after a big breakup. And it was a pretty toxic relationship. And I managed to get out of it and learned so much. Like, I used that opportunity to really get deep into healing, mental health, and really looking inwards. And it's been a very difficult journey. I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy, but it's definitely important to do it. Like, really get to know yourself, why you make sort of choices, why you avoid sort of things, why you allowed other things, rather than be a victim of things. I could so easily be a victim in my story, but instead I decided to learn from it and decided to look at it in a different way. So I started to work with life coaches this time, not therapists, because I've done therapy in the past and I wanted to see a new approach. So I've got a new life coach back then, started this program with them that took some time, and it literally transformed my life. Like, I'm not the same person since. Like, whoever's met me, even I would say up until 2 years ago, they don't know me. Like, they don't know me now because I changed.
Thanks to this as well.
Yeah, because I've changed so much. My mindset, the way I behave, the way I see things, the way I think things, the way I act on things, it transformed me deeply. And that involved a lot of, obviously, new choices that, I changed a lot in my life. And that's when I thought, that's it. This is my sign now to start to step into that. I felt the calling for it and I started studying it.
But what's the difference exactly between, for example, a life coaching and a therapist or a psychologist or...
So therapy is different.
Or counselor.
There is differences, let's say, between therapist and life coaching. To make it simple and quite short, let's say that a therapist, beside different qualifications, a therapist works more on a deeper level. So it takes you a lot back in the past and it stays in the past to dig and dig and dig, because obviously in the past there's all the answers that you need, right? So it makes you go there, and it helps you really understand deeply what's going on and the reason why so many things, so many choices you make, right? And then that's pretty much where the power is. Not only, but pretty much. Life coaching is different in the approach, because it does make you go back in the past, because we need those answers from the past. But it's kind of like going back, picking it, let's go back to the present and look at the future now. So having that information from the past, knowing where that behavior comes from and why, how do we change it now, basically? So it doesn't stay in the past. It's more an active, present, future orientated practice. So it gives you more tools to help yourself, whether it's anxiety, limiting. One of the major thing about life coaching, so one of the main job that I have, it's to identify limiting beliefs. And often it could be so many limiting beliefs that we don't realize, because it's all in our subconscious. So we so often don't realize that the one that are limiting ourselves is ourselves. Like procrastination, perfectionism, so many things, right? We self-sabotage all the time without knowing it. So one of the main thing about life coaching is help the client having that awareness. And it's like bringing a light to those things and start to analyze them. But not analyze them in a way that is like going too much back in the past. Yes, we go. See why it's there. But then now let's sit it with us and let's see how we can transform that. So it's more active that way. And it gives a lot of tools on which you can help yourself and transform those limiting beliefs, especially. Also, another reason why, like another click for me, was when my actual life coach, who I worked with for a long time, at some point looked at me and he was like, so when are you starting your journey? Because you are a life coach, for sure. And I was like, what? It's like, yes. It's about time you start that journey. And I was like, no way, I can't believe it's just saying that. And I heard that so many times. There was this other time where it was funny, actually. I had a date with this man. It was a sort of blind date. So I didn't know where he was from or what he did as a job. And I knew nothing. And he didn't know anything about me either. So we had this lovely actually date. And then at some point he said to me, we didn't have to share too much. We had to guess what the other person did as a job. And then at some point he looked at me and he's like, well, you're clearly a coach. And I was like, I wasn't even qualified back then. I'm talking about some time ago. And it was like, you're clearly a coach. And I was like, no, that's not what I do. And I was like, you are a coach. I was like, that's not what I do. And I was like, I'm not saying that's what you do. I'm saying that's who you are. Turns out he's one of the biggest psychiatrists of the country. And I was like, oh my God. So I was like, okay, maybe it's time I start to look into this. And yeah.
And how long was the journey until now that you got the certificate?
I'll say for this certificate, it took me a couple of years.
Okay.
But I'm not finished.
So it's gonna continue? Can you
definitely
start
will continue.
Practicing it?
Oh yeah,
now?
definitely.
Okay.
I'm totally qualified. I already actually started to see clients. I am lucky enough to also coach a group of women that are inside the program. And I'm their mindset mentor. So, and there's about over 100 women in there. So I'm coaching those girls as well, who are like super cool. And that's a very incredible experience as well.
And this is face to face?
No, obviously they're all over the world. So it's video calls basically that we do. So it's inside this group, and I see them twice a month. I life coach them, and it's more like mindset mentoring in that case. And then some of them also do the one-on-one with me. And then most of my clients, I have to say, they're in America. So obviously the jet lag and stuff. But yeah, I see them already. I'm also specialized in ADHD.
Yeah, I wanted to ask this.
Mm-hmm. I am an ADHDer combined, which you see, it's a blessing in disguise, because I managed to study like that. It's like, is there anything else you want to add to your to-do list? Well, let me activate my ADHD power.
So you specialize in that as well?
I'm specialized in ADHD.
And in other areas or?
No, at the moment it's life coaching and ADHD awareness certifications that I have. NLP will be probably my next.
What?
Autism.
Oh, okay.
As well. Those two are my next probably. And I mean, I'm never gonna stop studying. That's just not.
Once you start, it's like.
Once I start, it's hard to stop.
Okay.
But you see, the field is so big. How can you stop? There's so much to learn.
Yeah, and when you're passionate, when you want to help people, again, we see the saying that you want to help people with Antonella Beauty and with this.
And in a way, you know, there is a sort of connection. They're both healing.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Antonella, for the opportunity to talk to you. And good luck with everything you do with Antonella Beauty, with your clients, and also with WULOP 2025. Let us know then how it goes.
Definitely.
And yeah, we'll see you around and
who knows, maybe on the podium.
Maybe. Well, we hope so, right? So
we all hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Let's see. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really excited to be here. So I'll keep you updated.
Yes. Good luck.
Thank you.